Alright, today our lesson is Accentuate the Negative, and we're Chapter 1, Lesson 3, starting out on pages 12 and 13. So today we're going to focus on the change in temperature. And so the first paragraph is talking about the National Weather Service keeping a record of temperatures of different places over time. And so it starts with telling us the world record for the fastest rise in outside air temperature occurred in Spearfish, South Dakota. The temperature rose from -4 degrees Fahrenheit to 45 degrees Fahrenheit in 2 minutes. Alright, so the question is, what's the change in temperature over that 2 minutes? And so they illustrated through a number line. So you can see at the number line where you could actually plot your points, and then you can count each little space on a number line, each unit. That will start taking some time though, if you try to make a number line for every single question. So let me show you what you can do instead. Alright, so we're going from -4, and then we add an unknown amount to it to get to our 45 degrees. So now we can solve this just like we solve equations. Just because we have negative numbers, though, it's going to seem a little bit different from what you're used to. Because normally you would see maybe n minus 4, but this is -4 plus the n. So to get rid of a number, remember you want to do the opposite. And so since you have a -4, how can we get rid of it or get it to 0 so that it'll eliminate it? Jay?
Subtract it by -4.
It's already a -4, and I need to get my -4 to become a 0.
Oh, add it to...
Alright, so yeah, if I add a 4, it'll cancel that out. It'll make it a 0, which is what we want. Because when we're solving equations, we want our variable all by itself. So what we do to one side, we must... Alright, so it'll cancel it out. So the unknown number is 49. So the change in temperature is 49 degrees. So that's a pretty easy way to see what the change is when you're going from the negative side of the number line and then across to the positive side of the number line. And if you look in the book, the way the book has this answer shown, it's right here. If you take the -4 and you add a positive 49 to it, you end up with that 45. So the change is 49 degree change. Okay? Alright, so then on page 13 it says, if the temperature had instead dropped 10 degrees from -4, you would write the change as -10 degrees Fahrenheit. So for these types of problems, anytime you have a temperature drop, will be a negative number. And anytime you have a temperature increase, it would, guess what, be a positive number. Alright, so then if we say our temperature is dropping from -4 degrees to what? Because of a 10-degree temperature drop. Okay, so in this case, we start with our -4. And we're going to add a -10 to it because we had a 10-degree temperature drop equals what? So what we'll do here is we'll take this -4 and we'll add a -10. So basically you're going to combine both of the negatives. And so the new temperature will be -14 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so on problem 1.3 today, we're going to practice in finding some of these changes in temperatures. So let's look at problem 1.3. And we'll start with A. So a person goes from a sauna at 120 degrees Fahrenheit to an outside temperature of -20 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that change in temperature? All right, so see what you can sketch on your paper. So we're going from a positive 120 degrees Fahrenheit to a -20 degrees Fahrenheit. So the temperature change. All right, so see if you can work with your group members to set this up and solve. I'll give you about 30 seconds. And so that means you can talk with your group members. Peyton.
If you do it like this, if you do it like it would be 140. That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I mean, it says work that out yesterday.
Okay, so we'll set it up like we did that very first problem. We started with 120 degrees. And we're adding an unknown number to it to end up at -20. Bless you.
Bless you.
All right, so we need to get rid of this positive 120. So how do I do that?
Minus.
Subtract 120 from both sides. Oops, 120.
Wouldn't you add 20?
Well, basically what we're going to do here is we're going to add these two negatives together when that happens. All right, so we get a negative 140. Okay, so look at problem B. It says the temperature reading on a thermometer is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. In the problems below, a positive number means the temperature is rising, a negative number means the temperature is falling. What is the new reading for each temperature change below? So they give us a starting point. They give us the temperature change. What's the answer? So for part B, it's going to be like this second one that we did. So I'll work the first one with you, and then you can work these out. So On problem B, it says we're starting at 25 degrees. And we're going to add, it says a temperature increase. And they're doing these extra positive numbers in here, or symbols, just to help you as you're learning to work with positive and negative, keep everything straight. But you don't have to have that little positive to know it's positive. If it doesn't have a negative, it's a positive. All right, and so then what is our new temperature? If we start at 25 degrees and then we have an increase in 10 degrees, Lamar? 35. Okay, so yeah, that one was pretty straightforward. So that was B, number 1. Okay, so on number 2, it says this time our change is going to be a -2. So we start at 25 degrees, plus we add our temperature change of a -2. So then our new temperature. So talk in your group members about what you think our new temperature will be.
That's what I'm saying. So 25 minus 2. You bring that. Shut.
Alright guys, so if it helps you on any of these problems, feel free to sketch out a quick number line. As I've done here, I put 25 in the center, and because we're working with a very small change, it's easy to do a quick number line. You with me, Nick? Alright, so it says my temperature change is -2. So that means I need to go down 2. Did you guys get 23?
Yes.
Very good. There's my new temperature. All right, try number 3. All right, so again, we're starting at 25 degrees. And then we have to add our temperature change. This time our temperature change is a -30. I'm going to take out that Fahrenheit. All right, so just 25 plus the -30. Okay, talk in your groups for about 15 seconds.
Oh my God. Are you on my No? I guess.
All right. So, for those of you who could not see the answer, if you needed to sketch a number line, I placed 25, and I know I'm having a temperature decrease, so I went heavy on the downside here. And because my temperature change is also in 5s, I just skip counted by 5. So I need to go a decrease by 30. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, so my new temperature is -5 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, does anybody have a question? No. Okay, part C says the temperature reading on the thermometer is -15. So now it's starting us with a negative. What's the new reading for each temperature change? Y'all try to work ahead of me on part C. Bless you. No, what am I doing? Okay, so on number 1, we start at -15, and our increase, we're changing by an increase of 3. So I placed, my point at -15, and I need to have an increase of 3, Seth. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 spaces up does put me at -12 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so for number 2, starting at -15, this time I have a temperature decrease. I have to go down by 10 degrees. Jordan? 5, 10. Does give me a -25 degrees Fahrenheit as my new temperature. And on the third one, I'm starting at -15. And this one, it was hard to make my brain work around because I knew I had a temperature change of 40 degrees. So I wanted to count by tens, and then it was odd because I was on 15 anyways. So I've got these separated by tens, but the increase has to be by 40. So 10, 20, 30, 40. Did y'all get 25? All right, me too. My new temperature is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, now part D is just getting us with basic problems. This will help you with your independent practice. It's just what is the change in temperature when the thermometer reading moves from the first temperature to the second temperature. Write an equation for each part. So, this is back to what we were doing in our first example. So we'll have 20 degrees Fahrenheit plus our unknown number will equal negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so how do we get the n by itself in this equation?
Add 10.
No, we want the n by itself, so we have to get rid of.
Subtract. Subtract 20.
Subtract 20.
20.
All right, so on the first one, negative 30. Okay, so I want you to try, let's do 3 and 5. This was 1. Oops, I just said 3 and I wrote 2. Go ahead and try those on your own. All right. So on number 3, we have a negative 20. So to undo that, we're going to add 20 to both sides. So the temperature change was a 30-degree temperature change. And here, it's a positive 20, so we'll subtract 20, subtract 20. Now on this one, we have to go back to thinking about what we did with our number lines. If I'm starting at 10 and I need to decrease by 20, it's going to take me to the negative side. So if you need to here, sketch a number line. So if I start at 10, I have a decrease by 20, 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay? All right, so party is a pretty complicated word problem. And I'm going to give the group that gets me the correct answer first 2 oops passes to each person. Problem E. First group with the correct answer. Problem E, page 13. You have to show me the work. I can see the work. You've been working ahead? All your group members have to have it on their paper too. I can just disqualify you since she'd already done all the work. How about that?
Okay. Stop.
I'll give the second place group 1 X pass first.
That's easy.
You have to show me the work. Everybody's got to have it.
Do this.
It's 10. I know it's 10. Is that it, Miss Sticker?
You have to show me the work. Everybody has to have it on their paper.
-5. And then I was going temperature rose, so you're adding, which would regular be subtracting. So that now it's 15 minus 20 equals 15. And then it fails, so 25 minus that equals 10.
All group have it down?
Do you have it down? Do you have
What
it
answer is do you have? Incorrect.
I got an answer though.
Everybody has an answer.
I know what y'all have. I need to see if everybody can get it on the paper.
We all have it. We all have it. Is it? We all have it. Is
Is
it?
everybody ready to submit their answers?
Hey, Miss Sticker. Hey, write this down. This is it. What's your answer? Miss Sticker. Miss Sticker, we got it. Miss Sticker, we got it.
Everybody in the group has it on their paper.
Write
Don't raise your hand unless everybody's done writing.
Hurry up and write it. What are you waiting for? An invitation?
We got it. We got it. We got it first. No, we got it first. No, we technically got it first. We didn't have it. We got it.
Hey, hurry up. Howdy.
Hey, it's still writing. Alright. Competition's over. The answer is -40.
All you have to do is subtract it. Minus
Alright, Erica, bring your work up here to the overhead.
Hey, can you show my work? It's better.
Alright, so here's Erica's work. Let's see what we got. Have a seat and take a look. Alright, so the temperature was 5 degrees when Sally went to school on Monday. The temperature rose 20 degrees during the day, so then she got it to 15. But then fell 25 during the night. So then she subtracted 25 and got 10. A heat wave the next day increased the temperature 40 degrees. So then we added 40, got back to 30. But an Arctic wind overnight decreased the temperature 70 degrees. So then that 30 minus 70 ends up with the temperature at -40. Good job.
I did it too.